to take your party on a sightseeing trip has broken down. I'm sorry.
Another delay, Professor Ambrose. Another example of your utter lack of organizing ability.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Remington, but I really don't believe that I'm responsible for a bus that breaks down.
Since we left New York, you haven't considered yourself responsible for anything. Deplorable hotels, misconnections, poisonous food. Why I took your tour, I shall never know.
Please, Mrs. Remington, it's not his fault. The bus...
Be quiet. When will the car be here?
On half an hour, madame. So the driver said.
You, come along. While we're waiting, perhaps I can at least get a decent cup of coffee instead of that dishwater they serve here. Oh!
What is it, Mrs. Remington?
My bag, it's gone.
Your bag?
Yes, you stupid girl, my bag with my jewelry, my money, everything, it's gone.
Do you remember where you headed last?
No, I don't.
You had it in the dining room. At least I'm almost sure you did.
Yes, perhaps I did. Oh, this dreadful place. It's bound to be stolen by now. Don't stand there, girl. Go and look for it.
Madame, your handbag, I think.
Oh, it's mine. Oh, thank goodness. It's all your fault, Mary Ann. I pay you to look after me, and you know how forgetful I am.
Mrs. Remington, you told me to go upstairs.
Don't argue with me,
So
girl.
you got your handbag back, so what are you picking on her for? You're always picking on her.
You, my uncouth man, will please to mind your own business. Mary Ann.
One of these days I'll murder that dame.
Won't you sit down?
Sure.
Blustering lady spoiling your trip, huh?
You said it.
Ancient wisdom says, anger, very bad for digestion.
Hi. Did you find out who wrote that letter?
Not yet.
I guess the big guy, Max Willis. Man, he talks tough enough to own a jail.
Oh, the fact that a person talks tough doesn't necessarily mean he associates with criminals.
You talk real cool. You a detective or something?
No, I'm a student of criminology. My pop used to head up the Honolulu police. Maybe you've heard of him. Charlie Chan?
Why, sure.
Well, I'm Barry Chan.
I'm Sharon Prince. I was in Honolulu last year. Boy, was that ever dreamy. Except I nearly drove my parents wild trying to keep up with me.
Are they with you on this trip?
No, they sent me on this creepy tour alone so they could stay home in peace.
Sometimes I think Pop wishes... Why'd you say the tour was creepy? That woman's for you?
Not just her. Professor Ambrose, too.
Oh, he heads the tour.
Yeah. He says I'm a potential juvenile delinquent. Oh, he's a real square.
Why does he say that about you?
Well, today I wanted to go to a joint in the artist quarter to hear some hot jazz instead of going sightseeing with the others.
Oh, I like sightseeing. Wouldn't mind doing some myself.
Hey, why don't you come with us? Well, at least I'd have someone to talk to.
Gee, thanks, but I think Pop has... Hey, wait a minute. Pop! Pop, why don't we go sightseeing? How'd you know?
Simple. Have learned intention from Mr. Willis.
Oh,
Remarkable man. Speaks with flavor of one who fights for prizes.
oh, you mean prize fighter, Pop.
Yet he has knowledge that will do credit to most learned student. Pardon, please, shall make arrangements for son and self to join your party.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is the museum I told you about, and very impressive too, I think you'll agree. It contains exhibits which are, I think, unique in Europe. This must be Magellan, who discovered the Congo in the 15th century.
Oh, excuse me, Professor. Magellan didn't discover the Congo. It was Diego Coe.
It was Magellan. Look, it says here, yes, this is it. The Congo Valley was discovered in 1482 by Diogo Cao. My apologies, Mr. Willis. I must have been mistaken.
I think nothing of it.
Who cares anyway? Do they have anything worth seeing in this dump?
I don't know. What do they have, Pop?
Regret not being informed on subject of Congo Museum. Perhaps we may consult our learned friend, Mr. Willis.
Oh, well, the natural resources of the Congo are Coffee, cobalt, copal, diamonds, and tinstone. So I guess they got exhibits on all of them. Oh, then they got the pygmies over there. So I guess maybe they got Pygmy Village rigged up. Over on Lake Kifu, they got gorillas. Hey, I'll bet they got a gorilla's bedroom.
Most interesting. Shall investigate.
Gorilla's bedroom. Are you mad?
Oh, no, Mrs. Remington. Gorillas make beds just like humans. Oh, they weave branches into hammocks like and sleep in them.
Rubbish. If there's any diamonds in this place, that's what I want to see.
Me, I'll take gorillas every time. They're more human than some people.
I'd like to see them, too.
You heard what I said. I want to see if there's any diamonds.
Yes, Mrs. Remington, it's just that
What?
I'd like to see the gorillas.
You mean you want an excuse to go off with this Willis man? Just remember, my girl, I don't pay you to indulge your spinster fancies on my time. Come along.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right, little lady. Don't you worry.
Your supposition was quite correct, Mr. Willis. I've just located Gorilla's bedroom. Would be pleased to accompany you to Sam.
Oh, thanks very much, Mr. Chan, but right now I'd rather be alone.
Oh, as you wish.
Pop, we're going out to the garden to take some pictures. Coming?
Wise old Chinese friend once said, 2 birds on branch sing sweetly, but third one changes melody to discord.
Come on.
Never does this party do anything together. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please meet back here in 1 hour? We mustn't keep the bus waiting.
Extraordinary things one sees round here. What? Quite extraordinary.
Most extraordinary.
What's happened?
She is dead.
Oh, stand back, please. Stand back, please.
What happened, Pop? Gosh, Mrs. Remington.
Now only mortal remains of Mrs. Remington.
Is she dead?
You were with Mrs. Remington, were you not?
Yes, I think I was.
You think what? Lady has fainted. Please take care of her.
Did anyone see this unfortunate accident?
Correction, please. No accident.
What do you mean?
Lady whispered to me just before she died. Said someone deliberately pushed her. Please call police.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Inspector Lorre of the Brussels Police. Forgive the delay, but I wish to inspect the scene of the crime fully before questioning you. Surely it's Inspector Chan.
Former inspector, now retired.
I shall hope for your help in the unraveling of this crime. You were a member of the group with which this unfortunate lady came to the museum?
Yes, with my number 1 son, Barry.
Who was in charge of the party?
Unfortunate gentleman with understandable word expression, Professor Ambrose.
Professor Ambrose?
Yes.
You were in charge of the party?
Oh, a summer avocation merely. More usually, I'm professor of English at McGraw College, Ohio.
I see. And where were you at the time that Mrs. Remington was killed?
At the further end of the hall. As a matter of fact, I was inspecting the Pygmy Village. Then I saw a crowd collecting. I hurried over. That was just before...
Before what? Before what, Professor?
Before Miss Edwards came down the staircase.
Ah, and where is Miss Edwards?
Well,
You knew the dead woman?
I was her traveling companion. She paid me to look after her baggage and tickets, things like that.
On what terms were you with your employer?
Terms?
Mrs. Remington behaved disgracefully to Mary Ann, treated her like dirt, humiliated her in front of all of us. Well, just before the party split up, there was a scene.
Scene? And may I ask what this scene was about?
I wanted to see the gorillas, and she wanted me to go with her.
So you were in her company when she was killed?
Oh, I didn't kill her. I'm sure I didn't kill her. I can remember.
Please, Inspector. Miss Edwards is still a very sick woman. Surely you don't want to precipitate another breakdown?
Breakdown? What kind of breakdown?
Well, perhaps you better ask her yourself.
Mademoiselle?
It's no secret. Mrs. Remington told everybody. I was in a mental home for 6 months last year. But I was cured. They said I was cured.
Cured or not, she should have croaked the old monster. I often felt like doing it myself.
Please, mademoiselle. Thank you, Professor.
Oh, yes, thank you.
A very simple case, eh, Mr. Chen?
Maybe so.
But this girl, mentally unstable, persecuted by an overbearing employer, a sudden impulse.
Could be. Yet, have desire to see lady's handbag. Can this be arranged?
Of course. But I myself have examined it, and I can assure you there's nothing of interest there.
Ah, this fact, very important. Am now even more anxious to see handbag.
Fetch Mrs. Remington's handbag. Mademoiselle, I must ask you to come with me to the police station.
Wait a minute. If she said she didn't kill her, then she didn't kill her.
Mademoiselle will have every chance to prove her innocence. Oui, Duval.
Le docteur a trouvé ce morceau de ficelle serait de la poire de Madame Remington.
The doctor found this clutched in the hand of Mrs. Remington.
May I, please?
Of course. I do not imagine it has any significance.
Quant à moi.
Merci.
Oh, thank you. 2 points of significance, Inspector. First, this is drawstring of jewel bag which humble self saw in possession of late lamented Mrs. Remington. Second, jewel bag has now vanished. May I have your permission to speak to young lady, please?
Of course.
Miss Edwards, would you perhaps know the value of Mrs. Remington's jewels?
Oh, she said they were worth about $10,000. She was always boasting about them.
Thank you. Significance of string clutched in dead lady's hand now very apparent.
Not to me, Mr. Chen.
Observe frayed ends. Now, Inspector, conjure up for yourself this picture. Mrs. Remington about to descend staircase. Suddenly, she observes hand of thief in act of removing jewel bag. She grabs drawstring, pulls with all her strength. Thief also pulls. Then pushes lady violently, drawstring breaks. She falls downstairs to her death. You agree with this picture I draw for you, Inspector?
It could have happened like that. It could indeed.
And now, Inspector Vernet, we have new motive. No longer crime of hatred, now crime of greed. Pop! Please, in future, my #1 son will draw my attention with less enthusiasm.
Sorry, Pop, but I just thought of something.
Yes?
It's usually professional crooks who go for jewels. I mean, they know how to get rid of them and that. It all ties in with that letter I found. And I know it belongs to someone in this group.
True. Sender could also be criminal. You have letter?
Oh, yes, it's right here. Hey, it's gone.
I got it. It's mine.
See, what did I tell you?
Yeah, but I had it right here.
Sure, but you see, kid, I started my professional career as a dip. Oh, pickpocket to you.
I do not understand the point about this letter.
You will observe letter has been sent to prisoner in Sing Sing prison. Apparently by Mr. Willis to friend Mr. Grady.
Sure, he's my friend. We shared the same cell together while I was doing time for armed robbery.
Oh, correction if wrong, please. Now I think I understand your vast general knowledge. Sing Sing has excellent library, has it not?
Sure, that's right. Plenty of books they got there. Me, I had plenty of time. Well, what are we waiting for? I stole the jewels, I knocked off the dame. Come on, take me in.
You admit the murder of Mrs. Remington?
That's what I said, didn't I?
And where are the jewels?
That's for me to know and for you to find out, copper. Come on, we're wasting time. Let's go.
Duval?
Inspector, what about the rest of us? Our bus will be returning soon. Can we go back to Brussels?
By all means, Professor. Some of your members may be needed for purposes of evidence, of course, but we will contact you at your hotel.
Thank you. We shall be at your disposal. Come along, ladies. Miss Edwards, come along. Mrs. Oppenheim, that's right. Now, that's it. Most unfortunate, the whole occurrence entirely spoilt our day. Our bus should be here about 4 o'clock, so...
Bus here yet?
Not yet, but it should be here at any moment.
Oh, good. Hey, what's up, Pop? You're looking kind of gloomy. Not happy about it being Max, are you?
Mr. Willis has already admitted it was he. Who am I to contradict him?
But you're not feeling good about it. As a matter of fact, I don't think he did it either. I guess he confessed to get Marianne off the hook. He's crazy about her, you know. How do you like this for a view?
Oh, very nice picture. When did you take this?
Oh, a couple of minutes before I came into the hall. You know, just about the same time Mrs. Remington fell.
And you came right in after taking it?
Yeah, but what are you driving at?
Must find Inspector Verney at once.
Oh.
Yes, Mr. Chan, you want me?
Accidentally, but nonetheless, most surely, my number one son has proven innocence of Mr. Willis.
How is that, Mr. Chan?
Look at picture. My number one son took picture in garden when Mrs. Remington died. Please observe figure in background.
The clothing. Yes, wait. It is Willis, without doubt. Why did you make this false confession, monsieur?
Inspector, he lied to save Miss Edwards because in vernacular of my number one son, he was crazy about her.
So, now we are back to where we started. And suspicion must revert to the lady just mentioned.
Or to all, except my son, Mr. Willis, and Miss Sharon. She was with you when you took picture, was she not?
Well, no, actually she wasn't. Not when I took that one.
No, then where was she?
I don't know. She got bored and she left.
I see. Suggest you take back permission for a group to return to Brussels.
I will round them up now.
Hey, you gonna round up Marianne, too?
Most certainly.
Then I'm going with you.
Oh, no. No, until we get a new lead, it is better that everyone should believe your confession still stands. So please stay here. Coming, Chan?
No, my number one son can go. I shall use telephone. Have I permission?
Of course, but may I ask to whom?
An institution in United States. I can choose prison, mental hospital, or college. I wonder which one it should be. I would like to place call to United States, please. Thank you. Inspector Verney, where's Professor Ambrose and Miss Edwards?
Oh, Miss Edwards became hysterical, so the professor kindly took her into the garden. He's a student of psychology and understands...
I am sure he understands perhaps too well.
What do you mean?
I will explain later. We must find them.
Come along, everybody.
I feel so much better, Professor. You've been very kind. You know, I think I could face the others now.
You mean go back?
It's getting very late.
Yes, very late.
Oh, then...
You are calmer, this I agree. But you're not better.
I don't understand.
You'll have to understand, Marianne. You're never going to be better. Not ever again.
No, but they told me at that place that...
You mean the mental home?
Yes, the mental home. They said I was cured.
They only said that to ease your mind. But the doctors knew the truth.
I'm still sick?
Tragically sick. That's why you killed Mrs. Remington.
Killed? But Mr. Willis said...
Mr. Willis confessed to save you. You know that, don't you?
Yes, I think that's true.
He came in from the gardens after Mrs. Remington was dead. I saw him. Others must have seen him, too.
I'm glad about that.
And I saw you, Marianne, coming down the staircase just after you'd killed her.
Killed?
You were with her when she was pushed. You know that.
Yes, I was with her.
You killed her, and you want to face the consequences? When there's another, easier way. Peaceful. Almost pleasant. As long as you don't fight or struggle. And it'll be over very quickly.
I was with her.
You hated her. Who wouldn't? And you wanted those jewels. A moment's temptation?
No. No, not the jewels. I didn't kill her for money.
But you did kill.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I remember.
You remember nothing.
I'd stopped to look at some Bantu costumes. That's why I wasn't with her.
You're wrong.
I'm right. They're looking for me.
They're not going to find you. Not yet.
Where are you, kid? Where are you, kid? Where are you?
There.
You are right.
Yes, I think so.
I believe if you search, Professor, you will find stolen jewels.
He tried to drown me. So that you'd all think I'd killed Mrs. Remington.
To be expected, Miss Marianne. You were what I believe my number one son would call natural fall guy. Your illness, attitude of your employer toward you, and lastly, the shock that had caused temporary amnesia. But now you are all right. Mr. Willis, may I suggest that you take Miss Marianne to a bus that is waiting?
Sure I will.
Pop, how'd you know it was Ambrose? Two things, my son. First, telephone call. Second, fact that learned professor did not know that Magellan only made explorations in Pacific area.
What telephone call?
To McGraw College in Ohio.
I've got it. He's not a professor there at all.
Oh, more significant. No McGraw College at all.
Oh. Look.
Perhaps certain thing will happen to bring them better life and more happiness.
What certain thing?
My son, I must tell you about the birds and the bees.